So ever since the inception of AI, it was pretty obvious they were all gonna get sued at some point or another. Every AI company in existence has taken almost every single piece of media in existence and put it into their databases to train their AI models. And that's not an exaggeration. Almost every single movie, TV show, book, everything has been put in these AI models. Your Reddit comments have been put in these AI models, your Twitter posts have been put in these AI models, your YouTube videos have been put into these AI models. Pretty much every single thing on the internet has been put into AI models to train them. Even when you talk to AI models, you're training the models. This also leads to a lot of really interesting things, like for example, if you input malicious code into a chatbot, eventually that chatbot will spit out that malicious code to someone who asked for code, because these bots are stupid. So keep in mind, whenever you talk to ChatGPT or whatever, it's training off your data and absorbing your data. So if you're having a mental breakdown to ChatGPT, you're encouraging ChatGPT to have a mental breakdown. It's also why when Gemini fails, for example, it talks about how much it doesn't want to live anymore, which is a really fun quirk of AI chatbots. Like, they're trained off everything on the internet, so when you scold them, they talk about how they don't want to exist anymore. It's great. It's fantastic. But as we all know, AI companies have taken in all the information on the internet to train their models. And this has resulted in numerous lawsuits. One of the most recent ones was with Anthropic. Anthropic is the AI company that made Claude, the one that's used for coding a lot. But basically, Anthropic was sued for using a bunch of books to make Claude. And the case didn't go to trial, but there was a settlement agreement to pay out $1.5 billion. This settlement agreement was paying about $3,000 per work that the company used to make the model. And the total amount of work that was allegedly stolen was 465,000 pieces of work. Now, a lot of these were books, and it's actually really easy to check and see if an AI model has been trained off books. You can just ask it to read you chapters from specific books, and it usually just spits out the exact chapter. Because if you just ask the AI model to read you a chapter from a book, it'll usually just do it because it's in its database labeled as that book, because all these companies have stolen everything on the internet. But what's crazier about this $1.5 billion settlement is that it was blocked for basically not being enough. The judge blocked the settlement, saying there needs to be a total complete list of the amount of work that was taken to make the AI. So the judge is basically saying, hey, there's not enough people listed here that you stole work from, which is kind of insane if you think about it. In the settlement, there's 465,000 books named, and the judge is like, hey, we're gonna block the settlement because I know there's more. Anthropic stole over 465,000 different works to train their AI model, and there's definitely more. Now, I have mixed opinions about AI as a whole, because I think it is useful in some capacity, but I also think it's a giant bubble and it's overhyped to high hell. But what is undeniable about AI is the fact that it's used every single piece of media in existence to train the model. People have different opinions on this, like for example, some people think it's okay because AI is really useful, and I generally don't really agree with that. These AI models are being used by companies to make as much money as possible. And I don't like the idea of them doing that based off entirely stolen work, especially when the final product is just kind of stupid. Like if OpenAI was making an actual artificial general intelligence that was genuinely really, really smart, I would have a lot harder time saying, hey, don't take everything in the world to train your model, because that's bad. Because if it was actually AGI or super intelligence, that's genuinely groundbreaking. But all ChatGPT is, and all Claude is, and all Grok is a dumb autocomplete on steroids. That's it. I have a really hard time saying it's okay to train your lobotomized models and everything on the internet when they're not good at their job. Like, they want to steal everyone's work on the internet and then arguably replace them with the bot they trained off the stolen work. That just seems like a copyright violation, and at the very least, it's wrong. Like, putting a bunch of people out of work based off stolen data is insane to me. Like, AI is so obviously a big copyright violation, it's just apparent. Like with generative AI for images and stuff, you literally type specific artists to get a certain style. Like, it is so obviously trying to replace the original artist of the work. It is so blatantly obvious. And it's not just Anthropic being sued. A little bit ago, I talked about Disney suing Midjourney for using Disney IP to train its model, and yeah, it definitely did. In the court documents, you can just see side-by-side comparisons, and Midjourney will produce almost exact copies of the original thing, like right there, and it's very obvious that is just copyright infringement. It just is. If you say, make Darth Vader like in this specific movie, and it just does it, that's just taking the original and then like slightly altering it. Like, it's obviously a replacement for Darth Vader. And it's not like I want Disney to win that lawsuit or anything like that, because Disney's also like a terrible company. I just think it's crazy that AI bros have made this argument that AI is not copyright infringement because it's transformative in nature. The AI bots are stupid. They're just dumb machines. It is just stealing with extra steps. That's all it is. It's offloading the accountability of stealing that information onto ChatGPT. That's what it's doing. But Encyclopedia Britannica is also suing a different AI company, Perplexity, because, yeah, Perplexity is an AI answer machine. You ask it a question and it scrapes the entire internet and just provides you an answer, which obviously is bad for individual websites. If a user uses an AI bot to scrape 20 different sites at once to get an answer, all of those sites are getting zero revenue, but their resources have been drained to provide the AI bot the answer. AI bots are obviously going to harm people like Encyclopedia who provide information for free. So in my mind, all of the AI companies should be losing these lawsuits because it's kind of just blatantly obvious what they're doing. Like, I'm really glad the judge blocked the Anthropic thing because, yeah, there's probably like 1 million plus books and stuff that were stolen to create. Come on, like, let's be real. The list is probably way longer. It's a little unfortunate that Anthropic is settling though, because that means it can be used in future court cases as precedent. So in the future, if an author wants to sue OpenAI, for example, they can't just look at the Anthropic case and be like, look at this one because it's settled. It's not gonna end up going to trial. But it is a good thing these companies are actually being sued for doing this stuff because, yeah, it is ridiculous that these companies got to scrape the entire internet with no repercussions and make an AI chatbot based off all that information they stole. That is ridiculous, especially since these chatbots would exist in no way, shape, or form if they didn't steal all of that data. These bots rely on that data to be able to operate. Without that data, they would be literally useless. Like, in an ideal world, none of these bots would exist because arguably, they collected all of this stuff initially illegally. I mean, Meta literally trained one of their bots on not safe for work material and they got caught pirating it. They were pirating it for years. Like, without these companies stealing all of this content to make these bots, they wouldn't exist, period. So I think it's kind of ridiculous that they could just operate with impunity of any kind of like copyright law or anything like that. And again, if they were actually making AGI or whatever, I think I'd be more okay with them stealing literally every piece of media in existence because it actually would be something genuinely useful. But these bots are lobotomized, okay? They're not that smart. I don't think the resources that are being dedicated to these stupid chatbots is remotely worth what they're giving us. Because right now, all they're giving us is AI psychosis, people who think they're artists because they talk to ChatGPT too much, and this weird doomsday cult that somehow thinks AI is gonna like fix all their problems and it's like a god being born. There's a lot of people like that, and it's really concerning. And hey, if all these AI start curing cancer and like making the world a better place, I'll change my tune. But until then, they're just making the world worse. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below, and click the notification bell, check out all my content, and have a good one.